Hello there, everyone. It is me, Arcwinder, and I'm back with another vlog type video. This time we're doing something very predictable. It hasn't been done before. I'm going to do a ranking of all the Star Wars movies from worst to best. Now, this is going to be very unprofessional. This is not going to be like a full-on like deep dive review and stuff. I might do this video again with more professionalism, being more specific about my points and stuff, not being very more general. But for today, I'm going to be very casual. The only thing I have really written down is just my rankings of the movies. And I'll give you reasons why I think that these movies are at the places they are. That being said, here we go. So tied for last is Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Oh my goodness. Where do I begin? It's if you're going to make bad movies, I don't think they should be like the last two movies in the saga, because that kind of leaves the saga on a kind of a downer note, because now I'm like, oh man, this is where it ends? Seriously? I mean, I don't really consider these movies, the sequel trilogy, to be the ending of the Skywalker Saga. The real ending of the saga was Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. That I felt like was a perfect ending. But while these movies were more, how do I say it? They're not as concise. They're all over the place. Like, Episodes 8 and 9 are bad in different ways. Episode 8 because it takes a lot of interesting ideas that were set in The Force Awakens and then execute them in the most horrible way possible. Like, oh my god, and then introducing new characters that nobody likes at all. Like, seriously, like, the two worst characters in the entire Star Wars saga is either Rose and Holdo. Like, seriously, the Jar Jar is looking nice compared to these characters. Like, I'll say this, there's a lot of plot holes in this movie, and a lot of the visuals, while it looks nice, they kind of fall apart when you really start to think about it. Like the bombing run scene and the Praetorian Guards, they look nice on first viewing, but when you think about it, when you pay attention, they're pretty bad. Like, oh my god. The Rise of Skywalker, on the other hand, feels like it's trying to be a Star Wars movie that people can enjoy, but it still has a lot of problems with it, because it has one of the worst endings to a trilogy or just saga in general. Like, oh my god, like, Rey Skywalker is so stupid. The whole reveal that Rey is a Palpatine was just damage control. Like no, your fan theories were right. Like, The Last Jedi was bad because it did damage to the franchise, and Rise of Skywalker is bad because it was trying to fix the franchise but failed miserably. Can't tell what's worse, but I know one thing for sure: I don't like either of these movies. Oh my goodness. Alright, next on the list is Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Now, my feelings towards this movie has changed a lot over the years. I liked it as a kid because, you like Star Wars as a kid a lot. You were more forgiving of its flaws. But then when I was a teenager, I just hated it because I guess it was popular to hate on this movie. Like, I never hated the other two movies, which we'll get to soon. I just hated Attack of the Clones because I thought it was like one of the worst movies ever made. Yeah, I kind of was pretty stupid back then. Okay, now, one of the things I really hate about this movie, like, it's probably my main problem that really makes it the worst of the original six, is because of the romance between Anakin and Padme. It feels like the most forced thing in existence. Like, oh my god, it's terribly written. It's horrible. I hate every second of it. I kind of enjoyed, like, the Obi-Wan plotline. I was kind of interested in that, but every time something interesting happens, we go back to that stupid romance, and I hate it. I hate it so much. Oh my goodness. Like, honestly, like, even though I'm just railing this movie right now, I think it's more meh leaning towards bad, because I do like parts of this movie. It's just that the romance ruined it. And there's some other dumb plot holes, which I won't get into because then I'll have to make a full-on video about this. And if I try to do this for all the movies, I'll be here for like 10 hours. Next on the list is The Phantom Menace. Now, this movie's just plain old meh to me. It's not particularly awful, but it's not particularly good. I like parts of this movie. I like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. I like their dynamic and relationship. But then I don't like that there's a lot of boring stuff throughout the movie. It's mean, it's kind of interesting to listen to, but it's not something that will keep your attention. The best I can say about this movie is when it gets going, it gets going. It becomes like a good movie. But that's not really, there's not enough of that in the movie. Next on the list is Solo, a Star Wars story. Now, this is the first movie on this list that I have more of a slightly positive view of. Although there are parts of this movie I really don't like. I just don't like that this is basically Han's arc from A New Hope. I mean, that is a good arc, but why repeat it here? Why not have Han become the cynic we know in New Hope? Like, the pieces are there throughout this movie. It's just that, I don't know, it would have been cool to see Han Solo become the scoundrel we knew in Episode 4. But he's portrayed as, I don't know, an idealist? I'm pretty sure Kira mentioned that somewhere in the movie, but I don't really like that. But there is a lot of action throughout the movie. I do like the Han and Chewie dynamic. I like Donald Glover as Lando. He was fun watching him. But overall, I give this more of a meh to positive rating. Not particularly awful. It is kind of good most of the time, and there are some great moments throughout the movie, but not enough to really elevate it to true awesomeness. Now we have another tie on the list with Rogue One and The Force Awakens. Now for Force Awakens, I do try and judge it by its own merits. I know the trilogy ends in a way I hate, but for the start, I did really like The Force Awakens. It was reintroduced me to a world I love. I loved this movie when it first came out. It was very exciting. I enjoyed the new characters. I liked the new bad guys. They looked kind of cool. It sets up a lot of great ideas which could have paid off in the sequel. And I would say that's what this movie needed to do. It needed to be set up for the next movie, which it does a great job of while being a fun movie. For Rogue One, the reason why it's tied, it's because Rogue One's pretty fun itself, even though the characters are not as interesting as the other characters in The Force Awakens. They are pretty fun. I like the Rogue One characters. Rogue One also has a lot better action in my mind. It feels like a war movie in Star Wars, which I really liked. The Force Awakens has interesting plot ideas and interesting characters, while Rogue One has great action sequences and fun times with these new characters that you're not going to see after this movie because they'll die, but they were fun while they lasted. Next on the list is Revenge of the Sith. Now we get to the movies that I love from this saga. Revenge of the Sith is everything I hope Episode 1 and Episode 2 would be. It's great to watch. It's very fun. I like the beginning action sequence. I like the dynamic between Anakin and Obi-Wan. They feel like friends. I like that. I didn't get that in the first two movies, but now I finally get it in this one, which I love. I also didn't hate the romance this time. It was actually pretty tolerable, even though there's some really clunky lines throughout this movie. Oh my god. And also, Palpatine's, he's the meme lord, dude. Meme lord. And also the action scene at the end is probably one of my favorite action scenes in the Star Wars saga. Probably my favorite action scene in the saga, to be honest. I like Anakin versus Obi-Wan. A+ for me. What really holds it back, though, is just I think there's a part of the movie which I kind of lost interest in. It was after the Chancellor was rescued and Anakin was talking with Padme. That stuff kind of bored me. I understand why it's the movie. It's just that it personally bored me. But to each of their own. But the rest of the movie is awesome. I really love this movie. Next on the list is Episode 4, A New Hope. Yep, the original trilogy are the top 3 movies in my ranking. What a shock. Point is, do I really need to talk about A New Hope? It's been taught to death already. It's one of the best movies ever made. But to summarize my feelings, I love how this movie had. It's a fun journey throughout the time when you're spending time with Luke, Obi-Wan, C-3PO, R2. They're all fun characters that I love. The Han Solo arc, it's great in this movie. The dialogue's great, even though the plot's stupid when you think about it, but the characters make it work. That's what makes Star Wars special, in a way. Next on the list is Empire Strikes Back. Same reasons before as A New Hope, but I do like the darker direction this movie went. That had the bad guys kick the heroes' asses. And you know that twist when Vader's like, "I'm your father." I was like, "Oh my god!" As a kid, I lost my mind at that. Pretty sure every kid lost their mind at that. Ah man, I like that movie. I love these movies so much. And you know, my favorite character of all time, Master Yoda, bro. Fucking best character ever. Like, he's so wise. He's very likable throughout this movie, as both the crazy hermit and as the wise mentor figure. I love that. And now, my favorite movie of the saga is Return of the Jedi. Yeah, usually people put Empire above Jedi, and even some people hate Jedi for some reason. I don't know why. It's awesome. Like, I love this movie. I give you, like, the Jabba thing with that start of the movie, that's pretty dumb. I'll admit I mean, I can spy it, but I feel like there should have been more development to that. But Luke trying to save his father from the dark side, Emperor Palpatine being as memeable as ever, like the big battle at the end with the space battle at Death Star 2, that was pretty great as well. That battle gives me chills. I was kind of like, oh yeah, I was so pumped when that battle was playing. And that was my ranking of the entire Star Wars saga. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Sorry if this was more unprofessional and very much not very focused. I was trying to get this video out because I'm going out of town next week, and I just want to get a video out fast. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time with something more professional. Until then, have a great day.